Hi there, good day. In this specific video, we are going to see how we can use this automation integration platform repository to set up Cloudpack for integration using the ArgoCD way of doing a Terraform and ArgoCD. So in this repository, we have published the required modules for you to set up Cloudpack for integration, some of the key capabilities which we'll see shortly. And there are branches like matches the version of the CP4i 2022.2.1, which is this branch specific to that version, and similarly 2021.4.1 matches this. So the main will always refer to the latest one. So while we are doing this, 2022.2.1 is the latest. So you need to git clone this. So cloning this repository. So this is your starting point. Okay. Now let us move on to the documentation. So the documentation, clearly we inform you that so we are taking care of only the key and essential capabilities. So not all the capabilities of CP4i. And I say essential capabilities are such as platform navigator, API connect, app connect, so on and so forth. And this we also have this link, which talks about this link will take you to the older version if you're targeting the older version. So that is not of our interest. So the target infrastructure is we have to have Red Hat OpenShift cluster up and running, right? And you can follow this instruction to set up OpenShift cluster. But what I would suggest is in the same tech zone, you can leverage IBM tech zone platform to create an OpenShift cluster. I have posted another video how you can leverage the tech zone cluster to quickly spin up a OpenShift cluster. If you do so, that cluster will be loaded with the provision storage classes. So I have already provisioned one particular cluster. So this is up and running. And if I look at the storage classes, these are all preloaded with the required storage classes. Okay. Going back. So you can follow this instruction. When you do so, what it does is it will provision an OpenShift cluster. Then you have to provision the storage class. You don't need to worry if you are taking this path. Then obviously we have a module which takes care of provisioning the storage classes. You don't need to worry about it. What I'm telling you is you make use of the fastest route to get your OpenShift cluster up and running with storage class provision. Okay, so I'm not just because I have a cluster already spun up and it is loaded with the storage class, I'm just going ahead, and you can look into the documentation. I mean the README. This is the architecture like any of the provider. Red Hat OpenShift provider abstraction layer on top of the infrastructure. Then you have a choice of storage classes. It could be a ODF or a Portworx. Then we will go and install the capabilities of Cloudpack for integration. So when you move on, please ensure you're following this documentation README to create an entitlement key, which is must. Without this, you won't be able to pull the images from IBM container registry. So get into this URL. For this you must have an IBM ID, and so that you can create a entitlement key. Quick outlook on this modules. So we have about modules numbered. You can ignore this number. These are all for internal matters, but the main idea is this particular module helps you to set up the OpenShift GitOps, nothing but an ArgoCD. As I mentioned earlier, this module will help you to set up the storage. In case of IBM, you have an option either a Portworx or ODF. In case of AWS and Azure, you have only Portworx as an option. So if you have created a cluster without storage class, you can make use of this module and then provision the storage. Coming back to the capabilities, you have Platform Navigator, API Connect, MQ, App Connect, Event Streams, and Uniform Cluster. These are all the capabilities that we have currently addressed in this 280. I'll talk about it while we are setting up the workspace. At this point of time, just ignore this. Going back to prerequisites, you must have a GitHub account. It could be enterprise or it could be your personal account, and I know you must be having an organization under which we are going to create a repository. So you must have a GitHub account, and ensure you install the Visual Studio VS Code. And now just ignore for a moment because I know I'm referring to some old documentation. Just give me a minute. Okay, so ignore Colima because we are not supporting Colima at this point of time. We ensure you have VS Code, Brew, and also have keep your personal access token handy from your GitHub account. So this is important, which we already talked about. And when it comes to runtime, which is very, very important, here we are talking about Docker, desktop, and multipass. In this demo, I'm going to talk about multipass because Docker desktop is straightforward. From the cloned repository, right? All we need to do is this launch.sh. If you have a Docker up and running in your local machine, all you need to do is launch.sh. Okay. So, but I'm going to talk about multipass. Ensure you install multipass. I have already installed. Multipass is installed, but I'm going to talk about how you can set up the multipass for you to run this automation. Now download this. Okay, we have downloaded. We need to launch this tool. I'm just launching. It takes some time. Okay, now it's doing its process. Let's wait. I'm going to pause it, let it complete. Waiting for initialization to complete. Sometime it will time out. Again, if you try to launch, it will say it might be running. Just wanted to, it's already exist. Pass list. Okay, it is running, so you don't need to worry about it. Let us mount it. Go to mount. Take some time. Let me pause it. Okay, it is successfully mounted. Just to check, is it perfect or not? Okay, if you are using a Mac, you can follow this instruction. You may have to provide a full access details under security and privacy. See whether we can access this or not using this shell. Okay, yes, we can access it. Okay, we are good. Let's go back to the documentation. Okay, so now we are able to access it. Fair enough. Let's go back. So we have already cloned it. We started with that. And let us get into in this case, okay, so we are CD automation. Okay, we'll make the code change. What is this credential property? So this is a place where we need to provide all the required information. Let me make these changes and then show you what it is. Till that point of time, let me pause. So okay, I made these changes. This is my account name, GitHub account username, and this is my personal access token. Don't just ignore XXS because this is a sensitive information. I just put some wrong value. After I show you what it does, I'll pass it. I'll correct the properties file with the right values, and then I'll proceed. But just to show you what it does, and the login token and the server URL I can show you. So if you use this copy.login command, that will help you to take the cluster login token and the cluster URL. Okay, so these two values can be filled. And entitlement key, you need to get into the container library and get the key for your ID. And API key, this is not required if you are using it on the tech zone, but if you are using it on IBM cloud, where you want to provision your own cluster using this Terraform way, then you have to have it. But if you are using tech zone, you don't need it. Okay, let me pause it, correct this value. Okay, I've updated the value. Let's go back to the documentation. So this is what we have done. So we are done with this step, and I've also given this from where you can get this URL, cluster URL and cluster token. Storage, again I reiterate, you don't need to follow this particular steps, configure storage, if you are using the tech zone cluster. But if you do not have storage provision, then you need to follow this. And in case of AWS or Azure, you have to follow you have to have this particular CLI installed in your machine. Without that, you won't be able to accomplish setting up the storage. And this is credential.properties. You have to update. In case of Azure login, you need to provide this details. And there is a specifics. If your choice of storage is Portworx, then you need to follow this particular link to set up the Portworx in your cluster. Okay, so there is an instruction provided for you to do the Portworx configuration. So we are not going to go in there because we have a cluster already loaded with the storage class. And this is the place, again we are reiterating to get the while set up the runtime environment, you need to ensure you have the container image and cloud in it. So follow this runtimes.md, which we did sometime before. So again I'm re-emphasizing, do not skip this step, which we have already done it, correct? So it is already done. So maybe I can exit one more time and show you, because we made credential.properties change, so we may need to come out and log in again. Then comes the setup workspace. So we have credential.properties altered. Let me do that and go to CD automation. you have this so ls credential.properties. Yes, we have. Then we need to do the source credential.properties, because sensitive information we cannot reveal it while running the script, so we can set it up as an environment variable. Sorry, properties. Okay, so now we have logged in, and we have sourced the environment properties, that is catalog credential.properties as an environment variable. To double check whether your environment is set, type env and it will list you the value that you have set it up in credential.properties. Now comes the setup workspace.sh. Here it is more of pick and choose the right module that you want to make use of from the list of provided modules. So we have about some list of modules. So which one you want to choose is the key here. For that you need to say setup workspace.sh. Then it will say cloud provider cannot be empty. So in this case minus p provider and the values IBM. I've given the pseudocode to explain what it is. If your OpenShift cluster is already provisioned with storage, this is my case. I have provisioned an OpenShift cluster in TechZone platform which has got storage already provisioned. In such case, I have to make use of this setup workspace. If you have provisioned the OpenShift cluster on IBM Cloud or Azure or AWS and it does not contain any storage provision, then in case of IBM Cloud, that you have two choices. If you want to go with ODF, Open Data Foundation, then this is the command that you need to run. In case of IBM Cloud and Portworx, this is the command that you need to run. Okay, so this file, if you have followed this Portworx configuration, you obviously will have this file. In case of Azure and AWS, you have only one choice, which is Portworx. Okay, let me go back to this one because I'm ignoring the storage which I already have. It says it is assumed that OpenShift cluster is already provisioned with the storage. Fair enough, we have taken care of the storage. Now the capabilities of CP4I, right? It is asking, do you want to go choose one by one? No. Right. Sorry. Do you want to choose all the listed capabilities instead of choosing one by one? If you say yes, it will pick up something. In this case, I said no, which means it is my choice to choose the required capabilities. Do you want API connect? Yes. MQ? Yes. App connect? Yes. Event streams? Yes. Cluster? I may not need it now. In such case, it will list you all the capabilities that you have selected, and it also informs you that storage class is already provisioned. Do you want to proceed? Confirm. No. This is one way of doing it. The other way is, okay, I'm not interested in choosing one by one. Let me take all. Say yes. It says you have chosen all the capabilities in one shot and storage is already provisioned. So this is the quick and fastest one. Maybe you can also go for one by one. In this case, we are good. It has created automation workspace. Okay. Look at it. 280. Now let me go back to the documentation which I promised earlier. In the list of modules, right, this module is capable of addressing the capabilities that has been provided under this module name. Like, it takes care of platform navigator, API connect, app connect, MQ, event streams, etc. So it's a quick and fastest way, right? Or you can go by one. So whichever you prefer, you can choose. I have preferred to go with all, hence I have chosen that specific option. But in the end, I will have everything provisioned, meaning platform navigator, API connect, app connect, event streams, MQ, and uniform clusters all. Okay, so look at the next step. Setup workspace also configure the terraform.tfs. Okay, so this is the file that maybe cd minus, this is the place we were in, right? Now take a look at the terraform.tfs. So instead of me doing it here, I can do here also, right? So for example, if I make some, because this is mounted, right, I'm just giving some random value. Okay, see, we have this value, so it's easy to alter in the VS Code rather than VI. So let me get out, and by default it has provisioned some values, but it is your responsibility at times to check the appropriate storage class. I have VPC block storage, and I also have Ceph RBD and Ceph FS. Instead of, I'm going to make use of this particular storage class because this supports read write once, right? You can use read write once, you have an option. So Ceph RBD can also be used, or you can use 10 IOPS block storage, both are used. So in this case, I'm going to make use of this. Okay, so let me make those changes and come back. Okay, so I have updated the file. So provided read write once, read write many storage classes, host GitHub host is github.com, and type is GitHub, and this is the organization name in my GitHub account, and you can choose any repo name, meaningful name, and this is the freeform text. So for example, version 2022.2.1. okay, just saving this and say cat. Okay, so the value is reflecting here. Fair enough. Okay, where do we need to go? So we need to go to so you have this workspace which is created, and we need to get into the current workspace. Okay, let's go back to the instructions. So now we can go for apply all.sh. Ensure that Terraform TFS is saved and you have made that appropriate changes. Let us double check. Okay, so it is loaded with appropriate values. So let's do apply.sh. right? So now within the container, change directory to workspace current. This is where we are, and we ran the setup workspace. This folder was sorry. Eventually, when we say workspace, setup workspace, it created this directory. Okay, and we are in this, and say apply all.sh. Let's hope for the best. It should work. There may be a situation where you may hit a rate limit exception. Most if that comes, all you may need to do is get into each and every module and then Terraform init, plan and apply. So this will run all in one shot. Let me run it. Okay, just give me a minute. Sorry, it was a silly mistake. You can ignore that. This will take quite some time because it will init, plan and apply all the modules. Let's wait for at least for 200 module, because it's starting up with 200 module. So it has gone to the next module. So init is done, planning is happening, then it will apply. Okay, so we need to let this continue. Depends upon various factors. It may take at least bare minimum of 30 to 30 minutes. It depends. So I'm going to pause it. Okay, so while this is happening, I just wanted to show you what is happening on the cluster. So you get to see a banner with the information that you have given in the terraform.tfs, and it started creating the required namespaces. If you look at it, MQ cluster, API CMQ, blah blah blah. So you can also verify using this ArgoCD what is happening on the ArgoCD part. Okay, so you can clearly see it is getting synced. Okay, let me pause it because it needs to complete. So let me also show you what is happening on the. So this is the organization and this is the repository. So it is getting populated. Okay. Let me pause it again. Let me show you the operators that is being installed. Okay. So you can see all it's getting installed, like App Connect, API Connect, foundational services, event streams. So that's progressing nicely. So if you look at it, we are provisioning platform navigator, event streams, AS, API C, MQ, uniform clusters. So these are all getting provisioned. And in ArgoCD you can see what is happening. It is out of sync, but it will come up. Okay. So now this has been completed, but it will take some time on the OpenShift side, because GitOps started ensuring that all the required capabilities are created. Let's start with platform navigator. So automatically the platform navigator platform UI says pending, so the instance of platform navigator is created, and if you look at it, it will take another 15 minutes. Then after common services, the Zen UI part will take another 13 minutes. So this will take at least another 30 minutes to complete. So parallelly other things will also progress. So if you go and take a look at API Connect cluster, it's in a pending state. I mean, nothing is there, but if you go and take a look at it in the ArgoCD APIC instance, still it is syncing. Okay, so let us wait for some time, maybe just to check event streams, what is the status there. Event streams, so still operators getting installed, and it will take some time. Now it has come. Just take a look at it. So it will come up. So it takes time. If you go to ACE, you have a design authoring, it's in a pending state. If you go to MQ, likewise. So it's also pending state. So in a nutshell, the script has completed, but on the OpenShift side it takes some time, because IBM Common Services has to create all the required services like single sign-on, certificate manager, blah blah blah. So once this is completed, then platform navigator will come up. Once platform navigator comes up, other dependent services will pop up. So I'm going to pause it. Okay, let me wait for that to happen. Now let us take a look at the completion of Cloud Pak for integration. So in the console links, you have a link provided. Username is admin, and the password you can pick it up from the namespace IBM Common Services. The secret name is platform auth IDP credentials. It's admin password. You can log in. Okay, we are good. Let's take integration instances to see in one shot. So everything is ready, and if you look at it, we have uniform clusters, event streams, MQ, S Designer, API Connect. So this is what we were targeting, and we have achieved it successfully. So normally if you look at it, it takes an hour, end to end. Maybe you just set aside 60 to 70, 80 minutes. I think we are good. So with this, I would like to conclude the demo by saying thank you to all who have taken your time out and trying this out. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.